How's it going, everyone? Bike Count Screwed Hawk here. And I figured I would make a video on how I personally approach Pell training, training in general, and the Society of Creative Anachronism. Um, Now, I keep a journal, and my chapter one is dedicated to like why I do this, like why I enjoy fighting, what keeps bringing me back to fighting. And I have a couple extra pages left over there. Um, because believe me, you're going to go through an experience of war or something, and it's going to be another reason what brings you back. So leave yourself a little bit of room if you're wanting to do this as well. Chapter two generally is I devote to my goals. So in this chapter, you're going to want to have many pages left over. Um, Even though you attain a white belt or become a duke or anything like that, the reaching for goals never ends. So even if that might be one of your big giant goals that you write down in your journal someday that you would like to experience in the SCA, just understand that when you get there, you're still going to need many pages left over to write your goals that you're going to still keep reaching for. So believe me, if you do this, make sure you leave many pages for your goals. Now, the third chapter, and this is the chapter that is dedicated towards the Pell training and training in general, and it kind of teaches you how to teach yourself how to be a trainer. Now, a trainer is somebody that can offer you practical advice or practical information on like a mistake that you're making. Like for instance, for me, I was Pell training a lot, and I would go out there, and when I would fight, for some reason I would throw the house, and then I would start to throw my off leg, or off body, either one, and my corner would dip. So I generally drop my corner as bait anyway when I go into house, because I want them to throw for my face so they can throw into my block, and then I can come under their sword really fast. The problem is I was striking and leaving my corner down. And I was seeing this through my Pell training, through my practice footage, because I take my camera with me, and a camera is an extremely great tool that you can use to better yourself. I'm telling you right now, because the camera doesn't lie. It doesn't sugarcoat or candy coat anything to try to make you feel better. It will show you where you're strong and where you're weak. So that's why I love to use a camera as well as mirrors. I have mirrors over there that I use, but I mostly rely on my camera. Now, the other thing, when you're kind of trying to learn how to teach yourself how to be a trainer, one of the very first things that I learned how to do is be exceptionally brutal on evaluating myself, just as honest as I possibly could when it came to where I was screwing up, where I was weak in my fighting. So you have to kind of take it to a level of, okay, these are my weaknesses, and don't try to not write any of them down. If you're gonna do the journal and take it seriously, write down all the weaknesses that you know about, that you personally know about. Make sure that you're leaving space as well when you're doing this, because the training process doesn't end through time. So you're gonna need many pages to write down where you're strong and where you're weak. And seriously, take the time to really just be brutally honest with yourself and write everything down that you can, where you're strong at, where you're weak at. The reason why I tell you to do this, confidence doesn't come from going out there and winning crowns and winning coronets or having a white belt. You are confident long before any of that stuff comes into your life. So confidence comes basically in a nutshell from knowing what you can do. Okay, where you're really strong in, as well as knowing where your weaknesses are, and to have the ability to avoid the weakness and play to your strengths when you're in a tournament. Now, the way I devise my training, now if you've watched my Pell training videos, you will notice that I do the same thing over and over and over and over and over, and I'm not kidding. When you think you're done, you keep doing it over and over. Now, the reason why I do that, training a few things a lot, is It really, really, really plays to your strengths. I can't tell you how many Dukes that I know that only throw a couple shots, but they are freaking very good at killing you with those few shots. I mean, I am very good at doing 6 things, maybe very good at doing 6 things as a knight in the society, and that's about it, fighting wise. Like, I'm not good at everything, although I have fought with pretty much every weapon style you can, just so I can learn the strengths and the weaknesses of these styles, so I can kind of use that information against the style when I face it. The biggest thing though is devising a plan, and you want to have the mentality that you are going to throw. It's kind of the, if you've ever heard it, throw one blow 100 times instead of 100 blows one time. It's kind of that mentality. If you really want to program your subconscious, and if you really want to feel confident out there, you have to know what you're doing. Like, and when you practice the sequences, the footwork, and the shots over and over and over and over, you get to the point where you could literally do it with your eyes closed, blindfolded, with your hands tied behind your back, basically. And that is where you're going to become strong, because you're going to be practicing certain shots, certain sequences over and over. It's just that you're going to spread that out. Okay, for the first month, I want to practice these 2 to 3 things, different things. And I say don't try to spread your focus too large. Don't try to train every damn thing at once, because what you're going to end up doing is slowing your progress down. It's better, the mind works better when you focus on a few things at a time. It can focus on a few things at a time and grasp it and learn it a lot easier than it can when you're trying to throw the entire kitchen sink of your style and things you want to learn and things you're trying to keep improving on, things that you're already good at, and throw it all at your mind at once, and it's too much. So it kind of goes along with the phrase, aim small, miss small. So just kind of focus on a few things every 30-day block of time, and get really good at doing those 2 to 3 things that you're really focusing on. Then move on to the next month, and the next month comes along, and you're going through your list of, okay, I suck at these things, these are my weaknesses, I want to get better. So you pick 2 or more of those, at least 1 to 2 of those, at least, if not 3. 3 is generally the max what I go for, and just pick those out and then use that month to work on that, all right? Now, there isn't anything wrong with stacking a little bit, and what I mean by stacking is, and I'll use an example, in my last Pale training episode that I did the 100 in, my first 60 to 70 days, every day I did the snap, and I was practicing how to have it before I would end over here, and I was trying to end over here. So I was having my elbow already in the perfect position to already go to the offside without having to do anything. So every single day I would practice the snap in both foot positions, like every day. And then I would work on my weaknesses, the things I wanted to get better in. I was trying to polish my tools, basically, make them sharper. So I was working on 2 to 3 different combinations, and then the next month kind of rolled around, and I was starting to work in leg plan combinations as well as keeping my other tools sharp that I already kind of learned from the month before. And then the very next month, I went from leg plans to I started working on my shield work. The big thing you want to do is you want to work on your offense. Get that freaking spiff as heck, man. It's the best you can do as fast as you can, and then start working on your defense, because a lot of your defense comes from your offense. So that's why personally I train my offense first, and then I work my defense last. So, and I'm in the stage right now, and I have been for like the last 20 some days, as I've been working my defense every Pale practice. I'm cherry picking out where I'm dying a lot. I'm seeing where I'm dying at practices multiple times the same way, throwing the same shot or stepping to the same side at the wrong time the same way, watching what my shield's doing, and then trying to develop drills to fix that. So I'm in that stage now, and I'm also in the stage of practicing new combinations that people won't have the opportunity to see. new 2 and 3 part combinations basically. And I'm also, since I'm in shield month, I'm working my manipulations. So I'm shadow doing my rips and presses basically in my drills, you know. So I'm kind of practicing rips and presses in there. You're not seeing it, but I'm doing that. I'm going to be doing that every day for a while, because I'm going to be doing shield. I call it shield month, but it's going to be shield 2, at least 2 months. And I also recommend that this is something that I see practically like nobody ever do, seriously. Train from your knees on your Pell as well. Since I'm in defense month, which is actually 2 months, I am taking the opportunity practically every day, and I'm not going to say every day because I've missed a few days, but practically every day I go out there. Half my practice is devoted to the footwork aspect with the shots and combos. Second half is dedicated to practicing from my knees. And I'm saying how important that is because every single one of us gets legged. It doesn't matter who we are. Duke, not a Duke, new guy. Dude been fighting for like 60 years. It just, every single one of us will get legged, and I've never really seen anyone practice that on the Pale, or even really kind of in any of the Pale groups I've ever belonged to. I've never seen anyone. From my knees, I did, this many shots. Take the opportunity to practice from your knees, because it will make a difference. Do it enough times and it transfers over to the field. It becomes a confidence thing. You kind of feel like you know what you're doing. So when you're training, seriously, use cameras if you can. If you can't afford a camera, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I have a set of 3 mirrors up over there on the wall. Use mirrors. If you can't do that, try to find a friend or somebody that can be with you and watch and offer you advice on what you're doing, because sometimes it's very hard for us as individuals to kind of understand when we're screwing up, because we don't see it. We're not the outside observer. That's why the camera or the mirrors are absolutely amazing, because they are the outside observer for us. And everything is there, and we can just go and look through that and go, oh my God, I'm dropping my shield corner here. Or, oh my God, I'm stepping too far here. I should really just do a half step. Every time I step too deep, I just, oh, I'm throwing that and it's all arm. I can see it. Or my shot's landing flat, and maybe I wouldn't even have noticed it because I was firing too quickly. Things like that. The camera picks up all of that. And then it's on you to be, and like I said, brutally honest with yourself. Don't mind praising yourself, like, man, I did really good, and this combination I've been practicing is really coming along. Just every now and then working into your Pale routine. When you're working on your weaknesses, just kind of work that in a few times to keep the tool sharp. That's all I do. I don't go and spend the whole Pale episode working the things I'm trying to keep sharp the entire Pale episode, but I do, at least 10 or 12 times, and then move on to what I need to work on in my weaknesses. But take the opportunity when you're at Pale training to really use it as an opportunity to focus on where you're weak in. That's the big thing. As well as, on a lesser extent, polish what you're strong in. But mostly it's about finding weakness and stamping it out as quickly as you can. And then when you go to an actual SCA practice, don't go out there to win the day. What I like to do is I like to go out there with a plan. Like when I was in leg month, I went out there, every single person I'm fighting is going to get legged by these combinations that I'm practicing, and for a month, that's what happened. My intent was to kill you after I legged you, and I only killed a few people without legging them. I had to keep them honest with diving, rising, because, got to keep people honest. But yeah, just go into fighter practices with a plan. A plan that you came up with to better your SCA fighting, so you can put what you practiced on the Pale into actual helmet time out there on the field, and just put yourself into that situation of throwing that combo over and over and over and over, or that shot over and over, or trying to get that rip over and over. Whatever your plan is, go with your plan. I'm serious. Like planning your future is way better than just living day by day. Like seriously, if you can plan, that means that you can reach for goals, and if you can reach for goals, that means you can pretty much do anything you put your mind to, as long as your body is able. So And the other thing too, and I have a question, I get this about intensity. So let's say you go to a practice, but you really want to experience that crown level fight, something to that measure. I go to practice with a plan. So you go to practice with a plan. I'm trying to work on these weaknesses, but I pick one fighter that is very good. Up here it is Sir Cyrus. He just finished second in West Kingdom Crown. So when I go to practices, I'm working my plan with every other fighter that's there. When I have the opportunity to face Sir Cyrus, I ask him for his best. I want your crown. This is what I want. And then for me, that's my evaluation. So I can see where I'm at. And that's how I kind of approach it. And he will give me the very best fight he possibly can. And that's what I'm looking for. And then I can evaluate myself and go back and look at the footage and see where I'm making mistakes or what I'm doing right and adjust that. And the very next time I go to practice, I'm working my plan again, whatever it might be, when I come to that fighter that I've chosen to be my evaluation. And I'm letting them know this beforehand, before practice too. You let the fighter know, look, I'm looking for an evaluation or a test. Please give me your best. That to me is what an evaluation or test is. Give me your best. If you can give it to me, please give it to me. And that's how I approach practices. So I'm approaching it kind of twofold. I'm going in with a plan. I'm also wanting to occasionally test myself where I'm at right now. So I ask for an evaluation from a very experienced fighter. And then I take that information, I watch all the video, and I go ahead and make adjustments. And I might find new weaknesses. I might find new strengths to write down in my journal. But it's a continuing process of evaluation, practice, training, and evaluation, and figuring out where you're wrong and how to fix it. Because most of what we do in Pell training, we do on our own. So we have to learn how to be able to fix what we're doing wrong on our own, unless someone can give us advice, outside advice. But if you can, also seriously, post your paling episodes. Seek advice from knights. If nothing else, post it for yourself. You don't even have to make it public. You could just post it, and so you can view it, save it, and view it. It is an amazing teaching tool. I can't speak any higher of it. Cameras are your best teachers. They teach you how to teach yourself, how to train yourself, basically. So I hope this helped. The biggest thing I would say, the takeaway is, with your training, go in with a plan. Go into all your fighter practices with a plan. And when you finally get to the point where you are actively competing in crowns, coronets, things like that, this journal, this method of being brutally honest with yourself and teaching yourself how to train yourself will pay off immensely. You will go into those big tournaments, and even though it can be a very stressful situation, don't feel too stressful if you feel confident. They just kind of don't really go hand in hand with each other. Just play to your strengths when you're out there, know where you're weak and try to stay away from those, but also take the opportunity to all the time work on those weaknesses. I can't stress that enough, and work them into like month blocks. And I'm telling you, you will get bored. You possibly can get bored training the same thing over and over, but when you get bored, that means you're about halfway there. Once your subconscious gets it, it can do it in an instant. Like, it will see an opening, and it's almost like chess. It's 5 moves away, don't move until you see it type thing, but you see it. You see something, your subconscious just triggers, and you just go through a sequence and you do it, and you're like, holy crap, did I really do that? I'm like, holy, what happened? I've had that happen so many times in my fighting. Like, I just saw something and just boom, just acted, and they were dead, and I was like, holy crap, like I had no time to think, like, what happened? Oh yeah, that's a sequence I'm training all the time, and that's why it happened. So I hope this helped, and if it did, please go ahead and leave a comment, and go ahead and like if you want to, and subscribe to our channel for future combat training related videos. And thank you for your time, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.